a man who's now a Baltimore Raven. It's our first opportunity to chat with him since he signed here in Baltimore. He is offensive tackle Morgan Moses, and he is with us now here on GCR. Morgan, it's Glenn and Paul here in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations on being a Baltimore Raven.
Oh man, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
It's great to chat with you, dude. Can you, give us your thumbnail? We're celebrating the Ed Block Courage Awards this week because this year's event is coming up this weekend. What your experience was like being an Ed Block Courage Award winner when you were in Washington, and what the entire event meant to you.
I think, really just, when you think of the Ed Block Courage Award, it's about, obviously dealing with injuries in your NFL career that's going to happen, but it's about bouncing back. So, a lot of people don't realize that obviously football takes a lot of toll on your body, but coming back from injuries take a lot on your mind mentally. And just seeing those guys be able to bounce back, I think the year that I won it, Allen Robinson was a recipient from the Jaguars. And you see how his career has turned out over the years. Because, not just because of the injury, but learning how to, train your body in a way to get yourself back ready for the next season. And then also just the things that they do with the children in the Ed Block Courage Award, just, being able to visit the kids. And these are children that just need love, are missing out on opportunities. But, when the guys come in there and get to sit down with those kids and play, draw, and things like that, those are memories that you'll never forget. And that's what it's all about, is just bringing joy to somebody else.
We were just talking about that, Morgan. Literally, Paul and I were just having a conversation about the visit with the kids and the impact that it has on guys. Like, it's literally a life-changing kind of experience spending that time with those kids.
Exactly. And that's, we nowadays, we label kids so much with trouble kids and this and stuff, and it's not about the kids being in trouble. They just need somebody that they can lean on, that they can see that makes them smile, people that they can enjoy being around, and having, peers that I've played with throughout my NFL career, that the kids can look up to, and that's the biggest thing. So being able to be a part of that was a great thing.
It's awesome. That's so cool. Morgan Moses is with, of course, he was a former Ed Block Courage Award winner, and now he's a Baltimore Raven, which we like a whole heck of a lot. Morgan, you got to be in here for a press conference a couple weeks ago. What was it like for you? And I'm not trying to disparage anywhere that you've been in your career, okay? So please, I'm not trying to say that, but the reputation of this organization, this opportunity for you at this point, given some of the places that you've been, how kind of surreal was it for you to have that moment, to be in the building and realize, like, the opportunity that maybe you have now as a Baltimore Raven?
Well, coming from the Jets, which was a great transition for me, because it's such a family organization, and they have so many of the pieces that they're trying to build to become a winning organization, and I believe they can do that. But the thing that stood out to me is the family structure that they have. That, they want everybody involved, families, wives, everybody involved, because at the end of the day, when you have those things taken care of, football becomes a lot easier for the players. And, seeing that a lot of the GM, Joe Douglas, all those guys have came from Baltimore Ravens. So it just made sense, that's the Ravens way, and so being able to go to a quality organization and add winning to it as well, it's a dream come true, because you talk about, I'm going into year 9 and now I have the ability to play winning football. Not a lot of guys get that opportunity. So to be able to get that, to go to a family structured organization and be able to win football games, that's all you can ask for.
Morgan, how excited are you to be a part of this offense? This is an offense that scored the most points in the league a couple years ago. They're like top 3 over the last 3 years in points scored, and gosh, they love to run the football.
Yeah,
I mean, how cool is that?
This is an offensive lineman's dream, right?
Well, just you just look at the dynamic offense, the way they're able to scheme things up, the way, they use 4 or 5 running backs, and the production is still the same. So you got quality play calling when you look at that. And then also to be able to have an all-star quarterback. You talk about a guy that's been an MVP, young in his career, which his career is still young. So the ability to play with a great quarterback is key as well. So I just look forward to getting out there and getting around the guys and playing football.
Morgan Moses is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio, but we talk about this with linemen all the time. Like, I know you're going to be proud of what you do in pass protection, but isn't it more fun for offensive linemen to go put your head down and bulldoze and get downfield and go kick the crap out of guys instead of just having to stand back there and block?
Well, I think the thing is it's demoralizing to a defense to have people run the same play down your throat every play and get 3-4 yards, and you can't stop it because not only do you have a running quarterback, but you got a three-headed monster in the backfield as well. So when you have that capability to structure an offense like that, and then when Lamar sets back up there off the play action and throw it deep to Hollywood Brown, I mean, it's unstoppable. So when you have those combinations, I mean, it's an exciting offense. And, you ask any offensive lineman, you just want to see the ball move down the field. And when you get the ability to do that, man, you get in that red zone and they call a power play and you go, in the red zone and score. I mean, it's demoralizing to a defense when their back is against the fence and they can't do nothing about it.
And Morgan, I guess because of the way the NFL has changed a little bit in the passing game and everything else, I guess you're facing maybe some smaller guys that are faster, and to be able to kind of lean on them for a lot of the game has to be your advantage, right?
Well, it's just not even just the advantage point. It's just when you're pounding the ball consistently, the guys up front get tired. They can't hold, for 30 runs a game. And then that allows you to get to the second level, the linebackers. And once you get to the linebackers, you let these running backs get up on a safety. I mean, it's a give and go. You're just going. You're just going for a touchdown because when those guys get open field and get one-on-one with the safety, it's over.
I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Morgan Moses is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio, New Baltimore Raven. Morgan, is it too simplistic to say you're here because you're at a place in your career where you're now ready to win a Super Bowl? You're into your 30s. Everybody knows football doesn't last forever. Is it too simplistic to say the point of this is I'm here to now try to go win a Super Bowl?
I mean, I think that's the objective for anybody when they start to look in other options, or even when the season starts. When you start working out, getting ready for OTAs and things like that, your first mentality is like, hey, I'm preparing for the long run, right? And as you know, it's a marathon, not a race. But at the end of the day, man, like, I just love football. So just being able to go to a quality team, a team that has history of winning, I think this was maybe the worst season. I wouldn't even call it the worst season because it's, all the injuries have happened and things happen that the Ravens have had. And I mean, I can't even count. I remember growing up playing with the Baltimore Ravens with Lewis in the backfield, Ray Lewis over on the other side, Ed Reed, playing Madden growing up as a kid. So, the history of that football organization has been great for a long time.
Morgan, when we talk about, and we just heard from Coach Harbaugh talking about, changing things up, trying to see if they can help prevent injuries. Just the thought of your head coach getting input from the guys and like listening to his players. How huge is that for a player, and how important is that to players to have a little bit of feedback with their head coach?
I mean, I think it pays dividend because, like, obviously, coach could be like, hey, no, it's my way or the highway.
Right.
But he's adapting to the situations that are here, right? And obviously, you come off a season where you have a number of ACLs and injuries like that, and you say to yourself, like, how can I make this team better? Because it's not about winning football in September and October. It's about winning football in November and December. It's always the healthiest teams that go the furthest in that playoff run. And so when you look at that and you have a head coach that's willing to adapt to that, winning football becomes endless. So when you have somebody that's a player coach that's, hey, what do you guys think we should do? Should we take off the pads on this day to give you guys a rest because you had a hard game on Sunday? When you have that flexibility between the coaches and players, it's a lot of respect that goes on, and it just tells you like a coach is willing to do whatever to make this thing go.
It certainly speaks to the culture that exists within an organization. There's no question about that. Morgan Moses with us on GCR. So what we need to know, Morgan, of course, you grew up in Virginia, so I'm guessing there were people in your life that were probably like lifelong Washington folks that were so happy that you started your career there and maybe had no problem, like, okay, we can root for the Jets in the other conference. They're a bit further away. They're not really a threat. Is there anybody at all in your life that's maybe struggling with the idea of rooting for the Ravens? Like, is there anybody that you were around as a kid, a friend, part of your family who's like, man, I can't do it. I'm Washington through and through. I can't root for you as a Raven. Anybody that's told you that?
No, sir. Like everybody I've talked to on my end, whether it's my children, my uncle, and family members and things like that, they're just excited that the ability to be able to play winning football at this stage. I obviously I've shown up whether it's a losing season or a winning season. For me it's just to go out there every game and put my best foot forward, and that's what I try to do in life in general. So for me, you said, hey, at this age, which I feel like I'm not old. You're trying to.
I want to make sure. I wasn't saying you were old. I want to make sure I say.
You're trying to date. You're trying to date me over here on the radio show, but I think just being able to play quality football, is anybody's dream, right? To be able to go to an organization that has the right pieces and an organization that's willing to do it, whatever it takes to win. And you look at the structures that they've had over the course of years and years. You talk about all the players, all the Hall of Famers that they've had come through this organization, and you look and say, hey man, they have the right structure and the right pieces to become to continue the success of the organization.
Glenn, what's the number under Harbaugh? Is it like 5 games total in the 13 years he's coached that there hasn't been playoffs on the line?
100%.
I mean,
it was the year Joe Flacco got hurt,
right?
And that's it.
That's the only year where they didn't go into a game playing knowing that they had something to play for. That has to make it so much easier as a player, right?
No, because obviously, when you love the game of football, man, you go out there and people ask me all the time, like, how do you play with all these injuries and not miss games? It's just the love of football, right? And you don't want to let people down. But when you get a chance to play a high quality level of football, when you're going out there every Sunday knowing that I have an opportunity to get to the playoffs, I have a true opportunity to win this game, in which everybody does on Sunday. You have an opportunity to win every game, right? That's why people love to watch football, because it doesn't matter who you have on your team or what stars you have on the team. You have to go out there and perform on Sundays. And that's why a lot of people enjoy the game, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. But when you have an opportunity to play meaningful football in year 9, 10, 11, those years and stuff like that, it does. It makes it a lot easier, because you can go out there and just focus on, like, hey, man, I need to do my job. I don't want to be that part of the team that lacks and bites our success in the foot.
What you just brought up, the fact that you haven't missed a game since your rookie season, do you, like, you ever get nervous talking about that? Is it ever sort of like a pitcher with a perfect game? Like, hey, bro, I don't really want to have a conversation. I tried to get who it was. It might have been Gus Edwards. Hadn't fumbled the ball at all in his career, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd kind of rather not talk about that. Like, I just don't want to talk about my streak and not fumbling the ball." Are you superstitious at all? Do you try to avoid the subject? You're like, "Nah, bro. Like, I'm comfortable. It's part of what I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm able to be out there."
It is, man. It is. I think it speaks to I think it speaks to a lot of just me taking care of my body, and just like I said, man, like I always thought this, if you feel like your best is better than, at that moment when you're struggling through injuries, is better than the guy behind you, why not go out there and play, right? Because obviously the team needs you, and I've been lucky to play, when I was in Washington, play with Brandon Sheriff for a number of years. And we would challenge ourselves. Like, if he got hurt during the game, I would tell him, hey, you better bring your tail back, man. He'll say the same thing to me, because at the end of the day, like, we count on one another. And you want, when you're going to war, you want to know the guy beside you you're going to have his back, and he's going to have your back through thick and thin. And and when you get that chemistry, throughout the team, it's unstoppable, because all right, this guy's going to play to my weakness, I'm going to play to his weaknesses, and then at the end of the day, man, we're going to be a better duo together.
I was going to ask you about that, Morgan, because it's not just about being lucky. It's about it's about being tough. And I know you got to know that you've, in your career, have gone through where, man, this is killing me, but I got to get out there in the field, and I got to make sure I can go out and play. And you know what? Is it fair for me to say that there aren't 100% of the guys out there that are willing to sacrifice that, are there?
I mean, I can only speak for myself, and I've been through a number of injuries where, there's been some where, like, obviously, you can't play through. If you break something, you can't play through. But there's injuries that, like, I remember my last year in Washington, week 2, I tore my adductor off the bone, and I played the whole season through it, because I just knew the feeling of everything that we had put together as a team throughout the summer and stuff like that, that it was going to be a special season. We wound up winning the division and going and losing to Tampa in the first round of the playoffs. But then again, that was my second time ever making to the playoffs in my career. So I look at it and say, hey, what if I would have sat down? I would have missed the opportunity on being on a playoff contending team, which I didn't have that much in my career. So you look at those things and you don't take them for granted. Obviously God puts you in a place to be able to do things that you need to do. But it's just simple, man. You just don't want to let people down, man, and you want to go out there and be the best that you can be.
Wait. I got to ask this question, if you don't mind answering. How do you play through that? Like, what do you do to get yourself back on the
I'm
field?
telling you, Paul, if he's playing through a torn abductor, I'm telling you, I might not play through him talking about
just tape. What is it? Just tape it up or what?
No, it's just knowing your body, listening to your body, having great people that you trust that can work on you and get you ready. Obviously with the adductor injury, everything else has to be stronger, glutes, hamstrings, because those are the things that are going to take a toll on it while you're playing through it. But then also just being transparent with your coaches. There's games that I lean over to Brandon and say, hey, Brandon, hey, I need you to have my inside a little bit more, bro. I can't really move right now. And it's automatically, all right, that's what you need. I got you. So it's just being transparent on what you can do and what knowing your body can do. And obviously, I'm a big advocate of rehab and taking care of your body outside of the facility, not just doing the things that you need to do in the facility. And when you do that, you can be able to test your body and push your body to limits that you didn't even know. So on Sunday, there's no doubt in your mind that, hey, I can play through this. I might be through a little bit of pain, but you can play through it.
Oh,
pain don't hurt.
Bro, you keep saying that. I'm out. There's no chance it's happened for your boy. All right. Morgan, before I let you go, you're a dad. I'm a dad. We got that in common. I remember in your press conference you were talking about your son wanting to catch a leprechaun. Did he man? Both my boys, I got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. They both put traps out, and we still can't catch that sneaky leprechaun. Was your son able to get him?
Well, good thing that we got a box of Lucky Charms in the downstairs in the cabinet.
Smart.
So that took place of that. But then, I think when he got to take a picture in Lamar Jackson's locker, that settled everything for him.
That was good enough. That's even better than finding that leprechaun. That's even better than that. Is he a big Lamar fan? Like, is he Okay, so how old is your son? I guess let's start there.
So I got 3, 6, and 7.
Okay, and are they Lamar fans? Like, are they?
Well, wait. Are they wearing Lamar's jersey or your jersey?
That's a good question.
So they've already had Lamar's jersey. So ever since we signed, they've been wearing their Lamar Jackson jersey to their football practice. They're playing spring football with pads on right now. And then then my 3-year-old, he likes Hollywood Brown and Lamar Jackson. So you ask him who's his favorite football player right now, he'll say Jackson Brown.
Oh, it's so great. And probably not the old folk singer, Jackson Brown. That is awesome, man. That's so cool.
No, don't feel bad, Morgan, because when the pandemic hit and we were doing the stats up in the booth and the families came in to be the crowd because they would only let families in, like 90% of the players' families are wearing 8 jerseys. So.
Right. There's a lot of dads who are like, man, you don't like me a little bit more than – they're like, sorry, Dad. We're Lamar guys.
It's okay because at least they're wearing somebody that I'm blocking for. Okay?
That's true. That's true. That's a great point. Morgan, what can we plug for you, man? Anything social media wise, anything at all that we can get a plug in for you? Maybe something you're doing in the community.
Man, I really just look forward to getting down there, getting ready, getting around the guys. I know it's a great group of guys. I've watched Stanley. Numerous of years, great talent, and I just look forward to just getting around the guys and playing football and making the best out of this opportunity. So I'm looking forward to getting the ball rolling.
Well, we were really excited when we found out. It's such a no-brainer. It's such a good fit to have you here in Baltimore, man. It's a tremendous thing. Morgan Moses, really appreciate taking the time for us this morning, especially as we're trying to get the word out about the Ed Block Courage Awards and the fact that you had such a wonderful experience being a part of it a few years back. It means the world. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to chatting with you again as we get to know you more here in town, and appreciate that, and we will talk to you then, all right?
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.